Hello, Judge. I will give points on rebuttal summarizing why I should win the round. Firstly, my opponent claims that the study I cited on isolation confinement was from the 19th century. If he read past the first sentence of the source, he would see that it refers to prison as recently as 2011. He then claims that I confused the phrase physical isolation with solitary confinement. It is not my fault that although my opponent had 5 minutes to explain his point, he was still not clear on the point, and I was forced to use the Webster's dictionary definition. So my defense should still stand on this point. His claim that the house arrest still has physical isolation and thus as a prison is invalid because I am the only one with a warranted source regarding physical isolation means, and according to that definition, the house arrest is not physical isolation because they can still interact with others in the house. He also claims that I'm contradicting on my point about keeping small jails, claiming that letting criminals back into communities contradicts when I say pre-trial detention is necessary for preventing dangerous criminals from walking on the streets. There is no contradicting. The point of trial is to read other people who are innocent from criminals, dangerous from the petty, and the petty from drug offenders. After that is deciphered, they are sent to their appropriate alternatives, so dangerous criminals will not be on the streets and no contradiction exists. He also claims I do not show why drug programs work better, but it's not my burden to explain why something works better. It's to prove that something does work better, and I did that when I showed that drug treatment programs reduce odds of rearrest by 56%. He claims I did not show the difference between boot camps and prisons, but I did by showing that the difference is that along with retribution, my plan for boot camps has the element of making the criminal into a better person with more opportunity. He claims the latter could happen through reforms, but as we have both conceded, because of the incentive the country has to oppress racial minorities, reforms will not happen. Finally, he claims that I said that the harms in this debate were that prisons are empowering the rich and disempowering racial minorities. If you go back and listen to my constructive, I never said that empowering the rich was the harm in this debate. I said that the first harm is that prisons cannot be fixed through reforms if it does not fall in line with the interests of the rich. It is unfortunate that my opponent misinterpreted what I said. Disempowering racial minorities was a harm, though, my alternative solved. The drug program to treat their addictions, including drug tests and assistance with finding jobs and education, that solved because that is empowering. House arrest that includes online courses on how to work from home to help them provide for their families also empowers. Boot camp that includes exercise, education, and studying for the GED also empowers. So all these alternatives solve for the harm, and the harm of having criminals walking the street freely without fear of retribution. The way that this round should be decided is not by who is more responsible, but by weighing the points and the solvency of the harm. Every harm that I proposed from the beginning, the abolition will fix will be fixed through my alternative. My opponent conceded that the incentives of the rich are a problem, but he has still not responded to my point that because of these incentives, reforms cannot happen. That was the very first harm I introduced. My opponent's plan therefore has no solvency for anything, and mine has solvency for every harm that I said it would solve for, so I should win this debate.